Welcome back, everybody. We're going to finish out chapter 4, talking about scatter plots and lines of fit. So, what is a scatter plot? A scatter plot is a graph that shows the relationship between two data sets. They can show trends in the data, if there are any. And probably one of the biggest things here to remember is do not connect the dots when you graph. We're so used to plotting points, which we'll be doing, and connecting the dots. But for scatter plots, we do not do that. So let's take a look. This is an example of a scatter plot. We're taking a look at some smoothies and trying to compare the amount of sugar in the smoothie with the amount of calories of the smoothie to see if we notice any trends. And so, how many calories are in the smoothie that contains 56 grams of sugar? So, this is going by fours. Halfway between 54 and 58 would be 56. There's a dot right there, and it looks like 270 calories would correlate with 56 grams of sugar. How many grams of sugar are in a smoothie that contains 320 calories? Well, here's 320 calories. Here's the dot that it matches up to. And sugar, it's 70 grams. So it's asking me, what tends to happen to the number of calories as the number of grams of sugar increases? And as I'm looking at this graph, it looks like I could, if I wanted to, and if I was supposed to connect the dots, it would be kind of a line that goes like this. That line is positive slope. So I would say as grams of sugar are increasing, the calories are increasing. Please answer you try 2 and 3. Correlations. So what is a correlation? A correlation is a relationship between, spell it correctly though, between data sets. So we have 3 examples here. This first one would be a positive correlation. That looks like if I were to make a general line through this, it would have a positive slope, so a positive correlation. The middle one would be a negative correlation. Again, if I were to draw a line through those dots, it would go down, negative slope, negative correlation. And then this last one, I couldn't try to fit a line anywhere in there, going up, down, sideways, anything. So this would have no correlation. They're just 2 random sets of data that are not doing anything to help each other out. Looking at example 4, do I see any trends happening in here? Any way I could draw one line that would represent a majority of those dots? And I really don't think so. So I would say number 4 is no correlation. For number 5, well, I can see that there, if I were to shade this, it'd look like that. Well, that's a negative slope, so that would be a negative correlation. Come back to you try 6 and 7 after we've discussed the next part of our notes, and give number 6 a try. Okay, but wait till after we do our next example. Using lines of fit. So let's start with what is a line of fit. It is a line drawn on a scatter plot that is close to most of the data points. It shows the trend in the data, if there is one. So those lines that I was trying to draw to talk about the correlations, then if I were to actually draw a line, then that would have been a line of fit. So what are the steps to making a line of fit? Well, the first thing you need to do is make a scatter plot. Of the data. Remember, we don't connect the dots. The second thing we would do is to decide if the data can be modeled by a line, meaning it has positive or negative correlations. If that's the case, then we would draw a line, use a ruler please, that appears to fit the data closely. There should be approximately the same amount of points above and below your line. And number 4, I'm going to run out of space, so I'm going to write it up here on the top. Write an equation using 2 points on the line you drew. The points don't have to actually represent data points that are in your chart. They probably will for our purposes, but they do have to be points that are actually on the line that you drew. So let's try this. We have a table showing weekly sales of a DVD. and the number of weeks since it was released. So we have week and we have sales in millions. So I'm going to start with making our scatter plot. Let's see. So I'm going to go, this is going to be my X, and this will be my Y. So I'm going to go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 18, 20. And 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This will be sales in millions. And this will be weeks. So I have 1 week and 19 million. That's going to be right here. 2 weeks and 15 million. 3 weeks and 13 million. 4 weeks and 11 million. 5 weeks and 10 million. 6 weeks, 8 million. 7 weeks, 7 million. 8 weeks, 5 million. So you can see it's not going to be a straight line if I were to actually connect those dots. So if I had a ruler, I would totally be using a ruler right now. But since I don't, I'm just going to have to freehand. So pardon my not exactly straight line. So if you look, you can see that we've got 1, 2, 3 points above the line and 1, 2, 3 points below the line. And I'm actually going through 2 of the points that we plotted here and here. And that is 6, 8, and 5, 10. So let's find a line equation for this that we drew. I'm going to start with finding the slope. So 10 minus 8 over 5 minus 6. That's 2 plus negative 1. So our slope is -2. Doesn't matter which ordered pair we choose to use. I'm going to use 5, 10. So y minus 10 is equal to -2 times x minus 5. Distribute. Y minus 10 is equal to -2 times x is -2x. -2 times -5 is +10. Get y alone, add 10 to both sides. These add to 0, so y is equal to -2x plus 20. So that equation would represent our line of fit for this data set. And we see that it has a negative correlation. So if I go back here, it also says to interpret the slope and the y-intercept of the line of fit. So our slope is -2. That means we are losing $2 million each week after the release, or the amount of sales decreases by $2 million. So maybe it's not necessarily losing, but decreasing. I like that better. Let's take decreasing. Sales are decreasing by $2 million each week after release. The starting value was $20 million. So now that you've seen how to make a scatter plot, please go back and try number 6 of the U-Try. Don't worry about line of best fit. We'll work on that more in class. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of your day.